Hey, this is Sarah here from shop3d.ca, and I'm here for a special episode of Talk3D. We have Shining3D here today. They are a leader in 3D scanning solutions and one of our favorite 3D scanning products. And with me today, I have Adam, Johnny, and Barbara to talk about their experiences, the future of the industry, and maybe some secrets. We'll see. Let's begin. Why don't you guys start by telling me a little bit about yourselves and how you got started with Shining3D?
Okay, so before that, I think I'd love to introduce a little bit further about Shining3D. So Shining3D was founded in 2004, and since those 20 years till now, we've been dedicated into 3D digitizing solutions. We are dedicated to bring out the high quality 3D digitizing solutions to also bring the high quality 3D data for more applications in the market. So for me, myself, I'm Johnny, and actually, to be honest, this is my very first job after my graduation. And I'm just thinking 3D scanning can help lots of people to improve their working efficiency and to create more possibilities in life. So that's why I'm here now.
Good as reason as any. And what about you, Barbara?
For me, I'm quite new in this industry because before that, I heard about Shining3D for a long time, but I was just wonder what Shining3D do, because in the past, I do the security cameras. It's kind of 2D visions. And when I come to Shining3D, and it's kind of 3D visions, and I learned a lot about the 3D scanning technologies and this manufacturing industries. And also the team is quite good and international. We have colleagues from all over the world, and I learned a lot in the Shining3D. Yeah, it turns out it's a good option, good choice to be here.
And we're happy to have you here today. And you, Adam?
Yeah, thank you for having me here. I'm an application engineer with Shining3D in the Tampa office. I started with Shining3D when they opened their office in Tampa, Florida, like a couple of years ago.
That's great. And you know what? They're very modest, but they are all excellent and knowledgeable about the subject. We've been talking 3D scanning since they got here. So to get us started, let's talk a little bit about Shining3D and how they foster innovation within the company and what your experiences are with that.
So I think I will take this question.
Yeah.
Okay. So as I just introduced, for among those years, Shining3D is dedicated to develop high quality 3D digitizing solution to generate high quality data for users to use in their different applications. So actually, every year we invest a lot into R&D team, and that's one reason we keep the innovation. And the other reason would be that we hear from you guys, like our partners here and all over the world, and also from our users, just like all the audience in front of the screen now. So we listen to their feedback, and we discover their requirement and the need in 3D scanning together, help them to solve their questions, problems in their workflow. So that's the accumulation of the knowledge and also about those feedbacks. So we usually, for example, our upgrading of the software, we usually get those important feedbacks from our users, then bring it into the new functions of next version. So welcome to let us know if you have any 3D scanning requirement and feedback on our product. Maybe someday you will see your dreamed function achieved in the scanner software.
And I know we get a lot of feedback when we talk with customers,
Sure.
either about 3D printing or 3D scanning, and we
Sure.
get an insight into what they need and what they're trying to do with the technology. Especially Adam, maybe you can give us some insight into the support side and how you get that information from customers, what kind of stuff you hear.
Yeah, so as application engineer, when we receive like ticket for support, we try to listen and try to listen to their like their inquiries and try to help them, and then through that we might find, oh, this is a good function or feature from software wise or even from the hardware wise to implement in the next upgrade. So this communication with the interaction with the end user helps us a lot to innovate our products.
That's great. And so you guys offer support for your products and talk with customers a lot then?
Yeah. It's 24/7, and it's we have offices in different locations, different countries to have 24/7 support for our end user, because it's very critical for when our end user are using our products to have someone in contact the same within 24 hours to get a solution.
Yeah, I think that's something that Shop3D also really focuses on, is creating that user support system, so that when you're trying out like a new technology, you have that support so you know it's reliable, and if you're having trouble with it, you have that support, you have that knowledge, you key into people who can really actually support you in your project.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's probably why we onboarded you in the first place. We always look for companies that kind of share our vision with that.
Yeah, we're on the same page, so finally we get on the same boat.
Yeah. and you know, tying that support and the knowledge that you get from that, and also that innovation culture, you guys come out with a lot of products and that hit all those different niches. Maybe you could talk about some of the products you're most excited about.
For me, my favorite product should be the IronScan Pro HD, because it is a multifunctional scanners that has both fixed mode and handheld mode, so it could scan objects from very small to large objects, and it's also with very high accuracy. I think this could meet most of the needs for customers, so that's my favorite scanner.
Would you say that one is like the all-around most handy to have? Like if someone comes to you and they're like, I kind of want to do 3D scanning of a lot of different sizes, a lot of different objects, you'd say that?
Yes. And it also could handle from very small to medium objects, because it uses the fixed mode and with the turntable and the tripod, and it scans very smoothly and automatically.
And those come with the unit, or is that like a separate add-on to get the turntable? And
it comes with a pack.
Oh, so it's everything all in one.
Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, thank you. What about you,
Yeah,
Johnny?
For me, I think my favorite currently would be our newly released FreeScan Trio. This is a scanner, metrology level grade, and with the integrated photogrammetry systems, it ensures you good scanning accuracy to acquire larger data.
Okay, so expand on that a little bit.
Yeah.
What would larger data mean for the end user?
So, which means, okay, let me address this in more detail. So for the FreeScan Trio, it is actually can scan markers when you scan something. With richer feature, it can scan with 98 laser lines.
Wow.
So yeah, in that technique, you can with that technology, you can scan something richer feature just with feature alignment, and it is 98 laser lines.
Ooh.
So usually, when we talking about a laser scanner, you need to steam markers even though the object is richer feature, right?
Yeah, that's one of the big feedback we have.
Yeah.
Somebody said, is there a way to scan without putting markers, or put less markers, especially for medium and huge object? You want to save time during the process. So,
and yeah, that's one big advantage of FreeScan Trio. And regarding the word, just your question, what is a larger data or bigger object? I would say that actually for every scanner, you can, especially for those metrology ones, you need to see there is a parameter called volumetric accuracy. So that means with your scanning going on, actually some error on accuracy will be accumulated. So big or larger, it's relevantly. So as long as you go for scanning larger and larger, the accuracy will be accumulated for error. So with the integrated photogrammetry systems, it helps you to get better accuracy when you do bigger objects.
And what does a bigger object look like? Is that like a car? Is it a boat? Is it?
Like I mentioned, it's relevantly. So if you do require high accuracy, something over 1.4 meter would be considered as big.
Okay.
Yeah, but let's say just for example, for our professional grade scanner, for scanning human body size object, you just want to take the feature and the surface to do some further design. Actually, you're not using the accuracy and you're not pursuing the extreme accuracy for inspection or for quality control. Then such big object, we say it is kind of, then you don't need to use such high grade photogrammetry system or metrology system to ensure that accuracy. It all depends on your application and the need from the industry. So just like I mentioned, different industries, actually their definition and the requirement is different. So it's hard to tell what is really big. Yes, usually for a car and a shape, an airplane would be relevantly considered really big object.
Okay. Yeah. And then also with all those laser lines, are you able to do something that's really deep or hollow? Would you be able to do that easily?
Yeah, for the laser scanner, especially the free scan series scanner, we do have the crossing line mode and parallel line mode and also the single line. Single line coordinate with one camera looking into the depths. So for single line mode, it helps the scanner and the users to get deeper into those holes.
Okay, great.
So we have a single line ready to use with our free scan series scanners.
There you go.
And that's why my favorite scanner is the combo, because the advantage of being able, because since the combo is small, then it has sharp angle and it's good to penetrate more compared to the other free scanner to scan deep holes and grooves with the single line.
And what makes it the combo?
Oh yeah, so it's combination between two different light sources. So you can scan with laser, which you have to use markers, and if you don't need to use markers, then you can scan with infrared mode. So that's why it's a combo. It's combination with two. Because we have some customers said, I don't want to put markers, and if they don't require high accuracy, if they are using the scanner for reverse engineering, then they can go with IR mode. If they are using the scanner for quality inspection, because also combo is combination of you can use for reverse engineering and also you can use for quality inspection because you can reach accuracy up to 20 micron with the combo. So yeah, that's the combo.
Yeah, and then so we talked a little bit about the markers, but there's also the scanning sprays. How do they come into play, and do you need them for every scanning situation?
Yeah, so I can answer that question. So actually, the laser scans are really good for shiny or dark objects, so you don't have to spray the object with the laser scanner. You can just scan directly. The only case where you need to spray is if it's translucent, like the laser will not reflect, or if it's mirroring, like a mirror, that's where you need to spray. So but for shiny or dark object, you don't have to spray. You can scan with laser mode, no problem.
Okay, so the laser would be good for maybe a full body scan that includes like dark hair that might be a little bit reflective.
Not like that.
Not like
Actually,
that?
as I mentioned, the laser technology, it requires markers to help alignment. So if, like a full body, including hair, you definitely don't want to stick markers around. And actually, for human body, we call this kind of object like a non-rigid object.
A non-rigid object.
Which means it's flexible and soft on the surface, even though you stick markers, but slight movement will cause a change of the
and then
position.
it will unalign, right?
Yeah, it will not be aligned well. So for scanning human body, we usually use some scanner professional level or entry level, also depends on the customer's need. So by this chance, I also want to mention the other of my favorite products in our product line would be the Einstar.
The Einstar is really cool. That if I had to choose a favorite, that would probably be mine because it's so accessible. It's lightweight. It's kind of easy to take around with you. And as I would use it more on the hobby side, and that's where I think it really shines.
Yeah. So I want to bring this out just because I want to say iScan does create an, like you said, an access to most users to get used to those high quality data, and with a reasonable cost, then they can understand what is a decent scanning device and the software should be, and what is a good quality data should be like.
Yeah, I think it's one of the strongest on that lower end pricing side of the market. It's going to be way better than any of the LiDAR phone scanners for sure.
Yeah, there was
yeah.
a customer who has Einstar as a hobby, and he reached out, and he works in quality control. And he reached out, he wants a demo of the combo because he said, I like the user interface of the Einstar. And he did watch some couple videos of combo. He said, I don't want to change to, I want to get the combo for my quality inspection process. So Einstar opened the door for other scanners, other Shining3D scanners.
I think that's really a strength of you guys, is having that wide range. So you can, the hobby level works for people who have, scanning miniatures, modifying toys, or other hobby uses.
And maybe who want to just start their experience in 3D.
If you don't know what you're doing and you don't want to do a high investment, that's where the Einstar really comes in. And then as you grow and you know exactly what you're looking to do, that whole portfolio opens up to very specific needs. That's great.
That's also why we kept the software interface and most of the functions the same, even with the entry-level scanners. Keep those features, then users can get used to it, and they can, when they upgrade the scanner, they can still use those good features, and they don't need to switch for a new learning curve.
Wow. And you mentioned the software that comes with the scanners, right?
Yeah.
And you guys developed that?
Yeah, sure. Our scanning software is all developed by Shining3D. Yeah, and all those fancy functions inside, like I mentioned, some of them are the basic scanning functions that's required during your scan. Some of them are according to the customer's feedback. We keep adding it. That's how the current software comes, and we will keep updating according to more feedbacks from our partners and the users.
So for our people at home, I think some people are going to be very familiar with 3D scanning, but somebody might be out there saying, what is this? How does it apply to me? Now they heard hobby level and they've heard, professional. What does that mean? Let's start with answering that maybe. So what is 3D scanning? How does it work on like a basic level?
Okay, so actually 3D scanning is more like, you can imagine it is like digitizing a real world object into 3D. So why we always say like entry level, professional, and metrology is all about the real application and the real need and requirement. Different levels, it's like for the entry level, most users, they just need to use this data to the display level. They want to see vivid 3D data. Yeah, for 3D vision, a vivid 3D data in the screen, in the laptop, in the computer.
Yeah.
So that's their application. And for most of that kind of application, they don't really need it to be that accurate. Because it doesn't matter from your eyes, you cannot even tell the difference of two A4 papers, right?
Yeah.
So that difference could be okay. And then a little bit further step advanced. So professional level, it usually means that you want to use this data for some design or with some accuracy, because you don't want your design to really far away from the real object. So this is a little bit step forward. And then for the higher level of requirement, they need to do inspection, they need to do NDT, GDNT test. So for those kind of applications, they do require that to reduce the error that the scanning process bring into the system, and they want to exactly know what's the real object with their original design's difference. So in that regard, usually they will require very high accuracy and stable repeatability of the scanning result. So that's different levels. As you also mentioned, maybe what is 3D scanning and how it works. it would be a long talk for that, but I can brief it. It's you can consider it like the human eyes working with your brain. So the scanner, the camera works like your eyes. They see things from the projector projected on the area. They saw the reflected light, and then the laptop, the software, will help you to process those images into 3D. So that's how our eyes work with our brain.
Yeah, and then with, there's kind of the difference between the light scanning, which is taking, just like flat images, versus a laser scanning, which is taking points of information and combining them together. And then the software does all that for you, that as you scan, you're getting that 3D model in front of your eyes on the laptop, which is really cool to see. The software really works well with the technology to make it very user friendly.
Yeah. Thanks for the comment.
Well, because I've seen it, right? That live scanning experience where you just see the light going over the object and that object is forming. It's really something. So we know a little bit about how 3D scanning is making an impact on manufacturing as a whole, but where do you see it going in the future, and how does it support, especially with the rise of additive manufacturing technologies, like 3D printing is easier than ever to adopt in the workshop, in the factory. How does 3D scanning tie in with additive manufacturing to produce parts?
Yeah. I think
so. From additive manufacturing, I think 3D scanning can be before and after. Before, I think for reverse engineering, because sometimes you need to scan a product, reverse engineering, and then 3D print it. But also after 3D prints, you want to inspect what you 3D print. So I think it can be used before, which is like for reverse engineering, and after to inspect what you have to 3D print, so you can see if you have to do modification. So I think 3D scanner like 3D scan and 3D print, they work together, and 3D scanning makes the process more quicker and more like also streamlined.
Yeah, I also want to add some points here. So like Adam mentioned, before 3D scan or before 3D printing, yes, just say what 3D scanning needs. You need an STL in your slicers, right?
Yeah.
So how does that STL come? Is either designed by yourself or scan something into 3D, right? So actually, like you said, now 3D printing is more accessible to many workshops, many factories, right? So it is, I think that will also be the future of 3D scanning for sure, because 3D scanning is not taking away the place of 3D data or what. It actually helps everybody to get a more efficient way to create their 3D model to print or to manufacturing. So like Adam said, you can do reverse engineering based on what you scan. Also, we have the iScan, like SP and iStar. Those are also for people who don't have enough CAD software knowledge, so that they can use the scanner directly get something in real life into 3D and use it for print.
Yeah, so that's a question we get a lot when people walk in. Hobby level, they come in and they're like, so can I take this and make a copy of it? And then on the industrial side, they're like, can I make a copy of this and will it be accurate? Can you expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, so for hobbyists, like I think we just discussed a little bit before, it's more like a callback. So that's their requirement, right? I'm a hobbyist. I just want to scan something, bring it into like printing.
Yeah.
So in that regard, some of our like entry-level scanners will be, kind of fit their like their need and the application, because in that regard, they actually don't need accuracy. Like I said, from the visual side, our human eyes cannot tell the difference with two A4 papers. Actually, they were not exactly the same.
Yeah.
And but for some requirement, if they do require some accuracy, they do need to design something according to a scan data. Then our like professional level or even better metrology level scanner will be their best choice, I believe.
Yeah, I think on the hobby side, I've seen people do stuff where they sculpt it out of clay.
Yeah.
And because they don't know how to do 3D modeling, and they don't really want to learn 3D modeling because they're very hands-on.
Yeah.
And so that's a really accessible way for them to make something. And then they can 3D scan it and have that virtual version that they can use in VR chat, in AR. Or if they just want a very basic STL from it, and then they can do a 3D print. That's great.
It's more like 3D archiving of these data. Then it's like, for example, like you mentioned, the sculpturing, they use clay to make it first. It's a smaller version because if you use the clay to build a big version, it takes so long time. You can build a smaller version, scan it, enlarge it in the software, and then use either print or other way to produce it in a bigger statue, right?
Nice.
That improves the efficiency again.
And I think archiving is a great thing to mention, because that's another way 3D scanning is used. I know museums and libraries like to document their pieces with 3D scanning, and then you kind of combine it with 3D printing, and you can create versions that people can actually interact with, touch, experience, and really protect your work while doing some engagement.
Also, souvenir making.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way.
Outside of prototyping manufacturing, are there any other industries that really benefit from 3D scanning?
Like you mentioned, AR, VR, also the movie industry for sure, because making the special effects, they need also make the movie like prosthetics.
Yeah.
They also need the 3D scanner to help them to get the real data into the digital version.
That's actually really interesting too. Yeah, because they do a lot with faces now, where they can scan the face and modify on top of that. So that's great.
And especially a special effect, right? You need that's originally based on the 3D effect. So you do need 3D scanning data for that.
Yeah. Is there any customer stories that you could maybe share, or something where 3D scanning was used in a very interesting way that you guys had access to learn about?
Yeah, that would be, for taking some time for us to think about. But recently, I do met some customer in an exhibition which I attended last week. They are mostly, that exhibition is mostly for prosthetics and orthosis. So I met a doctor, a CPO, the certified prosthetist and orthosist. So they use our scanner to help their patients to make the sockets for prosthetics, and they do mention that our scanner is really easy to use and get the high quality data, so that you can use it without hesitate, without further modification. So that improves their working flow and the efficiency.
Yeah, for me, we all the time when we think about like inspection, we think about inspecting the CAD or to the scan, but there are some application where you compare the scan to scan. So there was a customer for oil and gas industry where the drill bits, they want to scan it when it was new and after it was used, and they see how much material it lost and why they lost in certain area. So they like the scanner, because before they were just doing only visual inspection, which is not, it's scanner doesn't lie. Visual inspection depend on that person, like how that day, what notes they took. So they compare after they use the drill bits for extracting oil or gas, then they just took notes what's happened to this area, to the drill bit. But the scanner is going to give them, like you said, archive, like also a whole 3D model instead of just like taking some
specific area,
and they can just like align both of them and they see why it happens, so they can improve the product. And they can also have, because they can also inspect again, scan before. So they like they got the combo for that application.
So really the combo allows you to get that really, really high accuracy, so much so that you can compare two pieces and really see that difference.
Compare new after use and see what material or what happened to the object.
We usually call that like full size inspection.
Yeah.
Usually for some tools like rulers, you can just measure some specific size. But for 3D data inspection, you can align two data together and get the difference on all the surfaces.
Yeah, millions of points.
Yeah.
Comparison compared to use traditional way of inspection, which is only like to that certain area.
And that's also for small parts as well as large ones, right?
Yes, correct.
Which is great because you know, a large object you might be able to visually inspect easier than something quite small.
Yeah.
So that's great.
And for me, I think there is a project that makes me very impressive. That is, we did a project in Africa. That the people there, a lot of people are disabled, and we provide our 3D scanners for them. They scan their arms and limbs to get the scan data and do the prosthetics and orthosis. And we also teach the local clinics how to use the 3D scanners, help them to get that scan data. So I think in this project, the scanner is not just only a scanner, it also helps the people to solve their life problems. That makes me very impressed.
Yeah. And I think it goes with what Adam was saying before, where it's kind of the before the process and afterwards, where you can get this data very early on to scan and make a digital copy. But then afterwards, you can do measurement and follow up and modifications as well. And sorry, the software as well, that allows you to do the measurements, like the Shining3D software?
So our software can do simple measurements, but for sophisticated inspection, there are multiple products available in the markets for inspection, similar to reverse engineering.
Okay, and it's very compatible with the Shining3D data.
Yes.
And then how does Shining3D foster relationships with other companies and work toward that innovation?
So we would like to actually work with innovative companies, and our main focus will be providing a 3D digitizing solution. As you can see, we have lots of different purpose for 3D scanners and 3D scanning, different grade and capabilities. So for us, we do offer the SDK, which is a software developer kit for those innovation companies who wants to integrate the 3D digitizing solution into their current solutions. They can use the SDK to integrate the grid scanning solution into their own current product, so that it can help them to create a more innovative solution in their own industry.
Yeah, for example, in automation, where customer they wanna like automate the system, we can provide them the SDK for whatever scanner they need, and we can work like closer our R&D team with their R&D to implement our scanner to their automation system.
Yeah, I think that really ties in with, the innovation of your company and also that support level that you offer, because you can take what they need and really address it in a way that's going to work with them and integrate with their systems and make it for a full solution.
Yeah.
So where do you see 3D scanning going? Because you guys have a lot of insight on the industry.
So for me, actually, as I mentioned in the beginning, actually 3D scanning can be adapted to many industries. In the future, it will be an image that everyone may need a 3D scanning. Just like now, everyone may need a 2D picturing devices, which is your phone now, right? Maybe in the future, everyone can be adapted to the 3D imaging with the application going more and more advanced. You have more ways to see those 3D photos vividly, not only in the paper photo, maybe in some digital version of the photos. So in the future, also in many industries, everything needs to be in digital. Like I mentioned, the P&O and many industry, if you get the data digitized, actually it will be easier to store those data like 3D archiving, and also it's easier for people to use those data, even to use it remotely.
Yeah.
So in the future, I believe 3D scanning will be very common and really useful, helpful in our daily life.
Yeah, and also from automation, we go back to that. Like if someone has a 3D printer, they will say that I would love to automate the system. Just put the part, it's going to be scanned, 3D print, and then even like inspect, compared to that or to the CAD file. So also automation, to implement automation with the additive manufacturing, to make it also like less work from or less learning curve for the end user by automating the system. So I think automation is going to be also really big.
Yeah, in the inspection side, automation will be, really a big.
Yeah. Even if even for reverse engineering, just to have it, full system that it's gonna automate. You just put the part there, scan it like full.
How you
scan.
digitize the data automatically will be the trend as well. I think.
Yes.
You're right.
Yeah, that's one.
Yeah, it's taking a job that might be very complex or difficult for companies to do, and now making it way more accessible and also easier in a way.
Yep.
And I think that definitely is going to be something that companies are looking at more and more and more, especially alongside AI, making other areas easier. This gives the ease of use to creating 3D files that are so useful.
Yeah.
And also, a lot of our customers comes to us and pose their request, and we'll also explore and learn from our customers and to explore the more applications. They inspire us a lot also.
For sure.
Yeah, I think as you guys continue to grow your customer base, you're going to get a lot more insight into the industry and keep meeting those needs.
Yeah.
Really rising to the challenges, right?
Yeah.
What can you share? If there's any interesting projects that you're working on or developments that you can let us know about.
Wow, that's a very sharp question. So maybe, yes, there are something going on, for example, last year we also released our new trio, free scan trio, which is a really an innovative solution to do markerless scan, and in the future we will keep developing more and more, world first solution, maybe the first function or the most innovative way of 3D scanning. I cannot share more detailed information by this chance, but I just stay tuned, everyone. If you want to know about our new solutions and new technology, reach out to us or to our partners like Shop3D here in Canada. They can address you our newest solution in very quickly in time, so that and also attend our exhibitions around the world, anywhere. So as long as there is a chance, you can just come to our booth and see our latest technology.
Great. Did you want to add?
Also they can just go to our website and see all the locations that we have, and they are free just to come and knock on the door, and they can come and check our products.
Yeah, because you guys have offices pretty much everywhere now, right?
In the US we have one in Bay Area, California, and in Tampa, Florida.
Great. And of course, you can always visit us at shop3d.ca and come check out the 3D scanners in person. We do demos. We like to show it off online. And we're always open to doing a consultation to talk about what you're looking to do with 3D scanning and what would be the right fit for you. So I want to say thank you for coming and joining us today. It was a pleasure. It was great to get some really good insight on what's happening in 3D scanning.
Also, it's our honor. It's our honor to be hosted here, and it's our honor to support our partners on site like this. Thank you.